Thursday. Hope you've had a great week. This is totally an unplanned live, but I wanted to come on here and talk about the truth behind bloating, primarily because I've been getting lots of questions lately about bloating. And actually, I'm wearing an outfit today. It's actually a crop top. I'll stand up so you all can see. It's a crop top and some like nice stretch pants. And this is an outfit that I never used to be able to wear. And well, I mean, I could wear it, but I chose not to wear it. Not because of my weight or, anything like that. It was more about me being so bloated. And I felt I was incapable of wearing crop tops and short shirts because I was embarrassed. There were days where I looked pregnant, right? And I'm not pregnant at all, but, I felt that way. And as you guys know, I'm very particular of how I eat a lot of the time, not all the time. I do practice food freedom, of course, but again, I'm someone who knows a lot about nutrition. Obviously, I do this for a living, and I know what foods serve me and what don't. Now I do. But there was a very long period of time where I was eating foods that I believed to be healthy or, good for my goals, but they were not serving me. And so again, this is something we talk about in CMW, but not just foods that cause bloating or can prevent bloating, but it's important to understand that there's lots of reasons why people bloat. And so today I want to talk about the 5 reasons why people bloat. And some of these reasons you might have heard before, but some of them probably are new to you. And I want to emphasize, for me specifically, what I learned was the biggest reasons why I was bloating, even when I knew the right foods, what foods serve me, what foods don't. Okay, so the first reason, and I want to emphasize this the most, I'm giving you guys the best reason and the most important reason first, I'm not making you wait for it, is stress. Okay, there is such a strong connection between your mind and your gut. And there's more and more research coming down the pipeline about the mind-gut connection. And so when you are in a stressed state, okay, you're feeling stressed maybe from work, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's your family, maybe it's the environment, maybe it's about your body, whatever the case may be. If there's lots of internal stress, it is definitely going to impact your gut health, number one, and that impacts your bloating and your body's ability to digest foods properly, okay? And so this is what I was saying before about even when I knew all these foods that worked for me, what foods did not work for me. So for example, I learned that Greek yogurt, like dairy in general, makes me super bloated. Raw spinach makes me super bloated. I can list a bunch of foods I've learned have made me bloated in the past, and I avoid them to an extent. But honestly, guys, what caused me to bloat so much in my life was not just food. It was when I was stressed. It was when I was upset. It's when I was going through a lot in my life. And it's interesting because I'm looking back now and I felt like in the moment I wasn't stressed. But I notice now, in reflection that, and I'm not eating perfectly. Sometimes I still eat these foods that I know might have an adverse effect on me. But I notice I'm so much more in a peaceful state in my life. That bloating is rarely an issue for me. Of course, if I eat like a big salad, all these raw vegetables, yeah, I'm a little bloated. I know Miracle noodles make me bloated. I had some the other day. I was a little bloated. But again, like nothing crazy. It goes away. But what caused chronic bloating for me, and you guys, what I mean by chronic bloating is like I used to, obviously go to bed bloating, and I hear a lot of people complain about that, but I would wake up bloated. Okay, and then it would happen again midday, and I just felt like I was bloated all the time. And I would complain about it. I would feel like, I work out so hard, I, watch what I eat, but I'm still look bloated. Like it's just uncomfortable. And this is something we talk about in CMW because even if you are on the weight loss journey and you lose weight, you're getting fit, if you feel bloated and you are bloated all the time, like it's really going to affect your confidence and how you feel in your body and in your skin, right? So again, like overcoming bloating is super important. And I want to, encourage you guys not just to think about food and not just think about fitness, right? It really does come down to mindset. And this is something we discuss a lot in CMW. How do we deal with stress? How do we deal with external circumstances that are outside of our control? How do we deal with negativity in terms of people and our job scene and in different situations? How do we deal with that when we have no control? How do we kind of find peace in the chaos? And how do we handle ourselves And so that's something we talk a lot about in our program. And so I always say, like, really, accomplishing your health, your weight loss, your fitness goals, whatever your physical goals are, you have to have mental goals as well. Because your physical strength and your physical transformation will not happen without a mental transformation. And sometimes we have people come into CMW and they're like, well, I've worked a lot on my mental health. I've been through therapy. I meditate, I journal, I do yoga. They talk about all these things they do, and that's awesome. But one thing I want to emphasize, guys, is that mindset work is ongoing, number one. It's never a one and done kind of thing. Just because you did therapy for a year or two, or maybe you did it for 5 years, or you've been going since you were a kid, it doesn't mean that you're automatically fixed for life. Okay, I'm sure like it did a lot for you and you learned a lot. I've been through therapy for lots of different reasons. Okay, but again, it's ongoing work and there's always room to grow. Our brain is the most important muscle to work. I could talk about glutes. I could talk about, your back, your biceps all day long, right? And we tend to focus on those things. I want stronger legs. I want stronger glutes. I want better arms. But what about your brain and your ability to handle stress in your life? Okay, you can't ignore that. And I'll tell you what, like worrying about bloating and because I used to be me. I'd be like, well, I just I give up. Like, I don't understand. Like, why am I so bloated? Why can't I wear the clothes I want to wear? And even like being a fitness instructor, like I never felt like I could just walk around in a sports bra or teach a class in a sports bra because I was bloated a lot. But I've noticed, and I've had a few of my colleagues say this to me, like, Kristen, like you're looking leaner, like in your midsection. And I'm like, I'm not stressed. I'm like really happy in my life. And this actually reminds me of another woman I used to work with. Vanessa was her name. And, she lost a bunch of weight well, actually we worked together. She went to my gym and I saw her, 6 months went by when I saw her and I noticed she lost a bunch of weight. And I said, Vanessa, oh my God, you look amazing. Like, what did you do? And she's like, I got happy. I let go of the baggage in my life. And I was like, you go, girl. It's amazing. And, and I totally understand. Okay, so the number one reason I find people tend to bloat is because they are so worked up. There's something going on in their life, whether it's conscious stress or subconscious stress. What I mean by subconscious stress is that like chronic stress. It's like those low buzz thoughts. I say this in CMW, the low buzz thoughts that are constantly plaguing our mind. Okay, and it can be, again, about your relationship. It could be about your work. So I encourage you to bring those low buzz, low vibing thoughts, and they're very, very subconscious. Bring them to the conscious. Really start to work on those thoughts. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, it's not comfortable. There is nothing comfortable about growth. There is nothing comfortable about changing your mindset. To change your thoughts and to change your life, it takes work and experiencing discomfort. And that's why we're here to help in CMW and to talk to you about it and to guide you through it and show you how to do it the right way and really make you do it. And I've had coaches that I've worked with to help me do this. And I still have a coach that helps me work through this because it's hard to do by yourself. And I don't do it alone. I do some things on my own. I do some things with her. Okay, and this is why I've said before, I invest heavily into my personal development because number one, it helps me be a better coach and a better, leader, but it also helps me have a better life. And so I can bring the right energy to my clients and to my business and to my relationships and to my family and to my friends and to my body. Right? Like I feel so much better in my body. And I've noticed my body change recently, and it has nothing to do with my nutrition. Believe me, you guys, it's the holiday season. If you watch my Instagram stories or you see me traveling, y'all know I have food freedom. I'm out having margaritas on a Wednesday. I'm eating pizza. I eat cookies. My birthday was a few weeks ago. Again, I live my life. But, and I'll tell you what, I've had some dairy. I've had some foods that I know bloat me. But, I feel so much better. So, number one reason people tend to bloat is stress, okay? The number two reason I find is people eat too quickly. And this was me. This is still me sometimes. And I have to, force myself to slow down. And I think it comes from sometimes like I eat too fast because I'm so hungry and I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to eat. Oh my gosh, get it in me, right? And I'm so excited. I'm such a foodie. I enjoy it. But other times I'm starving. I think it's also because, I was a high school teacher. Some of you guys know this, for 10 years. I actually taught middle school and high school. And, we had 30-minute lunches. And as teachers, oftentimes, we don't have lunch by ourselves. If we're in our classroom, our students are coming in, they're eating with us. Maybe they're catching up on work, or they want to talk to us, or they want some extra help. So you really don't have any time to eat. Okay, and I work with a lot of clients who rarely have time to sit down and have a meal. Okay, so they're shoving food down their mouth, right? So there's two issues with this. Number one, when you're eating really quickly, you're swallowing 50% air. Okay, so when you're swallowing air, that's going to create bloating in your gut, right? Number one. And then number two, when you don't chew your food properly, okay, I always say in CMW 5 to 7 bites or chews per bite. Okay, because that's how many bites it takes to actually activate the natural digestive enzymes in your saliva. And that's going to help break down the food that you're eating so your body actually metabolizes it and digests it properly. So a lot of people take a digestive enzyme, which is very beneficial. I take a digestive enzyme actually when I know I'm eating like raw, like salads, for example. I love Brussels sprouts, I love cauliflower, broccoli, but the rufinos and those vegetables tend to bloat me. And I do know some people that avoid those veggies because of how it causes them to bloat. I personally like those veggies, so I just watch how much I eat of them. I try not to combine them with certain foods that I know will make me bloat. But I know if I'm going to eat those foods, I will take an enzyme, but I'm also very cautious of eating those foods very slowly and, mindfully, right? So really chewing 5 to 7 times. I don't count every bite, don't get me wrong, but I do try to eat those slowly. Okay, to break down the natural enzymes in your saliva. So eating slowly. And eating slowly and mindfully will also help you eat less. Right? So, and guys, I have to remember my own advice. Believe me, I'm a fast eater. But, that's something that will help minimize bloating, is to slow down your eating. Number 3, drinking too many fizzy drinks. And guys, I love bubbles. I love sparkling water. I love San Pellegrino. I like Prosecco, champagne, all that. But I know too much of it does not serve me. Okay, so if you notice that you tend to bloat after drinking those things, just have less of them. Do more still water, for example. And that's a blanket statement. I know some people have no problem with that. Some people it really does affect them, but I noticed it has affected me in the past. So I'm pretty mindful of that. Okay, number 4 reason why people tend to bloat is because honestly, they're worried about bloating. Okay, I talk about this in CMW a lot, when we tend to have these subconscious fears, or actually these really deep-rooted fears that come to the conscious all the time. When we have these fears and we kind of expect it to happen, we almost manifest it into creation, right? So it is going to happen. So if you eat something and you're like, oh my God, it's going to make me sick. Or I drink something, oh my God, it's going to make me bloat. Seltzer always makes me bloat, so I'm going to bloat. You're creating stress in your mind. And I was saying the first thing, number 1, stress causes bloating. So when you worry about bloating, you're going to create that as well. We manifest that into creation. So one thing I've also noticed is lately, I haven't thought about bloating at all. I'm feeling good, happy. So my bloating's been down naturally. And so even when I've eaten some foods that might cause some bloating, it's not nearly as bad as it used to be. You guys, I used to literally have abdissension where I have those lines sticking out. It was so uncomfortable to even wear pants. Okay, I felt like I was pregnant. It was, I actually remember when I was a teacher and, working with middle school and high schoolers, and I guess all kids in general, they have no filter. I remember being asked, Miss A, are you pregnant? Oh my God. I'm okay, how did I become pregnant in 2 days? Come on. So again, when you don't worry about getting bloated, letting go of that fear, it's amazing how your body's not going to create this as much. Okay. And then number 5, and this goes back to what I was kind of saying earlier about eating foods that don't serve you. Okay, so eating foods that will cause you to bloat. So for example, I just mentioned, like for me personally, I loved Greek yogurt. I loved cottage cheese. I loved these dairy products, but they didn't love me. And I was someone who was eating Greek yogurt for breakfast like every day. I thought it was like the healthiest thing ever. Get my protein, get some healthy carbs in, whatever. And again, I was just bloating all the time. And it took cutting it out completely to realize that, to be honest. Raw spinach, that causes me to bloat. Also, me personally, raw juices, I've learned. Not celery juice so much, but like if I get like a raw green juice, I will bloat, which doesn't make a ton of sense because you're taking the fiber out of juice. That's why I actually prefer smoothies over juices, because I prefer the fiber. But like for some reason, when I consume like plain juices like that, like I bloat. So like, but again, I'm not saying to you guys don't drink them. I still drink them sometimes because I know they're good for me in some ways, and I like the taste of a lot of them. But again, I know I might bloat. And I could list a bunch of things, but it is very important that you actually take some time to learn what foods cause you to bloat and which ones you're okay with. That is something we do help people do in CMW, and that's something that I personally spend time on because bloating was such an issue for me. Like it literally affected my day-to-day mindset. Okay. How you combine certain foods. Okay. So for example, like if you eat broccoli, let's say for dinner, okay, and then which might cause you to bloat, but earlier for lunch, maybe you had Brussels sprouts, or maybe you had some dairy, or maybe you had, I don't know, something else that can make you bloat. And then you combine lunch and then dinner, you're going to wake up the next morning super bloated because your stomach is just filling up with foods that bloat you. And this is actually the analogy we use with IBS and Crohn's, even like SIBO clients, right? Because that's really what determines IBS, what you're sensitive to. Okay, because again, like some people with IBS, some people can get away with eating asparagus and other people can't. Okay, because with asparagus, for people who have IBS, they can eat the asparagus tip, but they cannot eat the bottom of the asparagus because that's where all the inulin is in the asparagus. And inulin is a high FODMAP food, and that's what's going to cause them to bloat. Or whatever their IBS symptom is. Maybe it's constipation, maybe it's diarrhea. Everyone has different symptoms. So again, knowing what works for you and what doesn't. Okay. So that's something that's really important, knowing what foods serve you. Maybe you're eating foods that don't serve you. And having that clarity is key. Because once you have that clarity, then you know what will bloat you and what won't. So like if I get bloated, I know why it's happening. And I'm like, okay, fine. I had some Greek yogurt. I actually had some cottage cheese the other day. And I was like, well, I'm going to bloat a little bit, but it'll be gone. It's fine. Not a big deal. I'm not stressing about it. Because if I eat something that bloats me and then I stress about the bloating, I'm like out here. Okay. So letting go of that fear of the bloat if you know it's coming. So that's why like clarity is key. Consistency, obviously, like doing this over and over. And then, not stressing about it. So those 5 things, guys, I'm going to repeat that. Number 1 is stress. That causes bloating. Number 2, eating too quickly. Number 3, fizzy drinks. Number 4, worrying about bloating. And then number 5, not eating foods that serve you. Okay. So if you're looking for help with minimizing bloating, this is totally something we do in CMW. And I always really like helping people overcome this because it's something that really is debilitating. I understand it affects not just our self-esteem and our confidence and how we feel in our skin, but it also affects, like our motivation. Like, well, why am I gonna worry about like getting healthy and like losing weight or like hitting my fitness goals if I'm bloated all the time? I've been there. I've had my days where I'm like, God damn it, I just want to like wear this cute outfit and I can't. And I just feel like, why am I doing all this work? I've been there. But that's what motivated me to learn what foods worked for me, what foods didn't. Oh, one more thing, guys, and I think I actually have this on my Instagram reel. If you saw my Instagram reel, comment below. I want to know where I said the 5 reasons why you bloat. And actually, I think my 5th one was gut health, poor gut health. Yeah, that was my 5th one. Poor gut health, yes, meaning that like your microbiome, okay, is not fully, maybe you have leaky gut, for example, like there's holes in your gut wall lining, which can happen from having, too many gut disruptors like gluten in your diet, dairy, for example, too many like harsh, foods. There's so many things that can cause leaky gut. I can do a whole other topic on that, but having a poor digestive system, too many medications, antibiotics, all of that can lead to leaky gut. Okay. And so when you have poor gut health, your body's not going to digest foods as easily. Okay. And then you're going to have bloating, even if you eat really clean, even if you are not stressed. So if bloating is a really major issue for you and you've gone through all the things I mentioned, like you eat slowly, you're avoiding fizzy drinks, you know what foods work for you, you're really like not stressed in your life, you're just like, chilling, you're happy, maybe your gut health is to blame here. And and that's something else we can help you with in CMW is improving your gut health and learning, how to eat healthy, how to improve that and make your gut wall stronger, get it back again. How to minimize gut disruptors. I posted about gut disruptors last week, I believe, or 2 weeks ago. So that's something we can help you with. And, I encourage you guys, if you're really struggling with this, because I did for a long time, and I know asking for help is not always easy, and sometimes it seems like more work to ask for help, and it costs money, and it's time, and it's energy. And believe me, I talked myself out of getting help for so many years because I was a control freak. I wanted to do it myself. But I'm so grateful for all the help I've had in my life. I've worked with doctors and I've worked with dietitians, and this is actually what motivated me to get into this space and do this now for a living, is because I suffered so much that I decided to make this my life work, because I knew what it was like to wake up every morning not wanting to get dressed. And some of you might, hear me say this or look at me and say, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Like, how could you say that? I have many friends, my ex-husband, ex-boyfriend, whoever, they'll tell you. Okay, it's tough. And, there were a lot of things, like I said, that caused me to bloat. All those 5 reasons I mentioned, I was a victim of all those. Right? And I ate too fast and I did all the things. Stressed about it. So again, I understand where you are. I've been there, and I'd love to help you get out of there. Because once you are out of that and you're feeling good in your body, it is worth every penny. It is worth every moment of bliss. It is worth every second of self-confidence. Okay? And it's worth the time, the energy, whatever it takes. Okay? Think about it. Like in a few months from now, if you could be confident in your body, not so bloated, and like understand what foods work for you and what foods don't, would you regret investing in yourself? I doubt it. I don't. I wish I did it earlier. I would have had way many less years bloated. Okay. So if you're looking for help, you want some guidance, in CMW we have an amazing team. Okay. You can book a free call with me, createmyweight.com/apply. And again, my job is not just to tell you what CMW is, right? Like, I really want to get to know you as a person. Maybe what causes stress in your life? How often are you bloated? What are some things getting in your way of being successful? And what do you really need the most help with? Then if I think CMW can help you, I'll tell you, and I'll tell you what we'll do together. And if for some reason I don't think it's the right fit, if I think you need some more testing, or if I think there's another program, another person out there for you, I have a huge network. Believe me, I've worked with some amazing professionals. I can refer you to them. Okay? And I'll be very honest with you. Okay? createmyweight.com/apply. But this is the truth behind bloating. And I want to make sure you know that, because yes, you can totally look up like how to de-bloat and what food should I eat to minimize bloating. And I posted this graphic last week. You can drink tea and you can eat avocado and you can have peppermint or ginger, whatever. But like, don't you want to minimize it in the beginning, right? You want to treat the symptom. You don't want to just try to mask it. Okay. createmyweight.com/apply. Get clarity, get consistent, and get feeling better. All right. So you can be confident in your body and feel good. I'm here to help. All right. Hope you had a great Thursday, and I'll see you guys soon here in the group. All right. Bye.